Hello Peter, how would you define yourself?
I see myself as a shaman. I have many shamanic traditions I've trained in, and although I have many different tools, they all are shamanic in a way.
For many people, shamanic is limited to the Siberian tradition.
That's where the word comes from, but it's become quite a universal term now, because each different culture around the world has its similar tradition based on the same principles, and we tend to call them all shamanism now.
Shamanism has a feeling of the word medicine man to it.
It always involves a certain amount of medicine, yes, but it has many other aspects too. The deeper meaning is a master of inspiration and ecstasy.
Now this has a feeling of experience of... Are you talking about outer experiences in the world, like going into the jungle, or are you talking about the inner experience?
Both. The jungle is seen as a place where you find your inner experience. Simply because if you move away from society and all the conditioning, you're more in a free space for what's real inside to emerge, and your real relationship to the world and to nature.
If you work with people, do you prefer to do it in nature or in, say, the city?
No, I can work with people anywhere. The training is important in the wild, but once you're working with people, you already have knowledge with you. So I can work with somebody anywhere, it doesn't really matter.
The knowledge you talk about and you use, is that esoteric knowledge, sacred knowledge, secret knowledge? What kind of knowledge?
I'd say it's sacred. It's sometimes secret, but I wouldn't make a big thing about the secretness. We really keep it secret because it's sacred. We don't want people who use it in the wrong way. People have to realise that this knowledge is very important and it's very powerful, so you don't want to just throw it around in shallow ways where you don't know what it's doing.
Okay. But you use songs and rituals and methods that come from Egyptian,
yes,
Haitian, Voodoo,
yes,
African, South American, all kinds of traditions.
Yes.
For the user, it's not always clear where you come from. When you sing a specific song,
No.
it sometimes sounds very strange.
That's because I have mixed traditions. I've trained in many parts of the world. But in the end, when you go into the jungle, it's the spirits who teach you. So the songs you get are your own. But they do tend to come in certain languages, because these old languages have a certain effect on our brains that a normal human language doesn't. Whether it's in Quechua or in Sanskrit or in Asian Kemetic.
The Quechua comes from?
South American, it's an old Inca language.
Okay, and Egyptian and Greek and Sanskrit, these are
yes,
old, very old languages.
Yes. The thing is, they're not used in normal conversation. Sanskrit, for instance, is only used in religious ceremony. It's considered a language of the gods. It's not a language any people speak.
Do you think these languages are more powerful in, let's not talk about healing, but in helping people to find their true self?
Yes, it has been found that the shapes of all these letters of these languages are found in the brain in the shapes of neuropeptide chains, in the neural pathways. And also when you speak the sound, when it's put into a sand plate, the sound actually makes the shape of the letter. So you see there's a clear connection here. When you either write it or speak it, it's triggering something that's already in the brain, a template. So it doesn't matter what...
In that way, could you say that your shamanic work is basically a work of resonance?
Yes.
Why do people need this help that you provide in finding their own resonance? Why do people need that?
Because most people don't know how to. In the society we're in, people get so much caught up in the material world and the job they have to do and the identity they've had to take on, they forget a lot of their real self. And they no longer know how to even relate to each other, let alone themselves or God. And they need something to remind them.
What's the relationship between the inner self you talk about and our day-to-day behavior in the world?
And that can vary greatly. The relationship between our inner state and the outer world varies from person to person. Some people have a very rich inner life and don't do anything about it in the physical world. Other people are so caught in the physical world they don't even notice an inner life. The work of a shaman is to bridge the two, so that everything in the physical world can be seen as an expression of spirit, and everything we do in the spiritual world can change the physical world.
Is that inner world a world outside of time?
Part of it is. You see, there's many layers of reality. There's a lot that is beyond time and space, but then many things manifest within time and space. It all depends on how high you go. Some worlds are in time and space, some are beyond it.
Are you implying that the higher you go, the less time is like a factor?
Yes, because at some point we create time and space. When you go deeper, you go to a space before they were created.
You do individual work with people,
Yes,
and you
I
work in groups.
Yes, I do individual healing sessions and I do workshops where I teach people.
Now, sometimes you use rituals or plans or whatever. Could I say that what you essentially use is information?
Yes. See, even the plant, the physical form is not what's important. If it were so, then anybody who eats a plant or even uses a drug is going to experience a spirituality, but it's not so. It is the consciousness of each plant that matters. When we work with a plant in a shamanic way and we learn its songs, we communicate with its spirit. And its spirit then blends with us and gives us its teachings and changes us.
Is it so that certain words, certain songs, certain images, or certain frequencies of a plant can be transferred without the plant being present?
It is possible simply because a plant has a spirit. It's a spirit that we work with. Once we've taken the plant and met its spirit and so on, we can call it any time. So in my healing, often I don't have plants with me, but the spirit can come with me and help me in the healing.
This sounds a little bit like the word of Heinemann and homeopathy.
Well, yes, I'm actually a homeopath as well, so I fully understand that. And there are clear bridges between shamanism and homeopathy. It's all about working with the world of vibration and energy.
The word of resonance.
Yes.
In the magic tradition, that is sometimes called correspondences.
That is part of resonance. Correspondences are there to show you which things resonate with each other and make connections.
For instance, a specific kind of crystal or stone is related to a specific planet or a specific plant.
Yes, and you can see that this connection is very much right-brained. You can't see a logical connection between the crystal and the planet, but when you experience resonance, you can see the similarity somehow. And so therefore, when you're working with the right brain, you can see a clear bridge between one and the other, because there's similar resonance. Therefore, when you're beyond time and space, one leads you into the other.
Would you say that part of your talent in your work is that you can sense these resonances, these correspondences?
The resonances between everything is an important aspect of shamanism. And the work we do is to actually feel a person's resonance and feel which resonances will change them and complete them.
Okay. If we were brought up in a different culture without telephones and computers and trains and stuff like that, would we be more close to those resonances?
Closer, yes. You can see this in many cultures in the world which don't yet have a civilization. The people are still naturally more in touch with nature, but they're not all shaman. The shaman still has to train.
So, could you see your shamanistic work partly to undo the what we call the gifts of the modern world?
No, we don't try and undo anything because life is evolving and we have to consider everything that's come to make us what we are. What we look at is rather where you need to go and what's going to help you. What's going to help you embrace the things around you so they're not a problem.
Okay.
To some people, things like electronics and computers are giving them problems. We have to look at why. What do they need so those things can be tools rather than problems.
Many people have problems in their past, traumatic experience, sexual abuse, early childhood memories. Sometimes we have forgotten them. Sometimes they remain in odd ways. Is your work helping people to find those hidden or forgotten or...
A large part of my work is actually bringing up the past and healing it. Because people hold much conditioning within their subconscious, which is affecting their behaviour, affecting their health. Their body is storing it as resonance. It can make them ill. So in order to heal both physically and emotionally, these memories have to surface, these emotions have to be released or processed.
Words in a workshop with you, I picked up were contracts, shame, guilt, like key words that identify problems we all have.
Yes.
Would you say that all of us have problems of a similar kind, or are they?
Almost everybody has shame of some kind, because when we are small and we haven't yet got the tools to handle all the things around us, We often take on various beliefs about ourselves so we don't feel good enough. And certain traumas make these much worse. So some people have a lot more shame than others, but everybody has shame to some degree. And shame is one of our biggest obstacles to our progress. We can't really feel good about ourselves and therefore create a positive reality if you're in shame.
So part of your approach is to teach people to give back the shame to those people or situations that originated.
Shame has many sources. Sometimes it is what you've done that you feel ashamed of, but quite often shame is passed on by somebody else. In that case, you can't forgive that shame, it's not yours, it does have to be given back. And that can be a very powerful experience in itself. When you realise how many people have dumped the shame on you and you give it back, you feel much freer.
So your work as a shaman is both bridging two worlds and also getting rid of some of the debris of our childhood, of our society, of maybe what happened in previous lives, and get rid of that.
A lot of the work is just clearing the old baggage, yes, getting all the debris, as you say. So it's all the things which hold us back. When all that garbage is gone, then you're free to move where you want to.
Well, that's what many of us want. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
I did several workshops with Peter and I was very happy with them, and they helped me a lot with various personal problems, with spiritual growth and also even with health problems.
I did a workshop with Peter Aziz, and it opened new doors for me. I saw myself in a different view. I saw my connection with my past and my present, and it helped me to see something I didn't see before, like my third eye, my vision was opened by him in what I could only call a magical way.
Hi, I just completed my first workshop with Peter Aziz, and I truly trust and believe that it's one of many that I would like to attend with him, as this one has given me opportunity to get in touch into my unconscious, that through trauma and pain in my life I never had courage to get in touch or even reveal. And through Peter's tremendous wisdom and professionalism and integrity, I felt safe to go to the places I never knew that existed. And through the workshop I am living with a sense of great empowerment, great freedom, great love and awareness of myself, and tools also of how to deal with anything that might come out for me in the future. So big thank you to Peter, and I just pray that more people will be able to have a chance to attend his workshops. Thank you.
Hi, I've just finished my first workshop with Peter Aziz, and I was incredibly impressed with a number of things. We were working on aspects of sexual healing sexuality, and he works in a really interesting way with different medicines and different meditation techniques, different visualizations, and a lot of explanations as well. And I found the whole combination of all of these things together extremely helpful for finding parts of myself that I'd completely forgotten, and also transforming old emotions that really weren't working for me anymore into much healthier ways of behaving. And I'm looking forward to another workshop with Peter very soon.
I attended my first workshop with Peter Aziz, and it brought me balance. It brought me back into very old experiences, and I realized that it all has to do with this life as well, taking my responsibilities for it. And it was the safe environment and the knowledge, the wisdom of Peter that helped me to go there and to come back feeling more complete, empty of the things I don't need anymore, and well balanced. Yeah, great.